Like many of you out there, local and state leaders started working remotely when the pandemic started. 10 months in, many elected officials continue to have socially distanced and video news conferences. The video conferences keep people safe, but the new format prevents reporters from having access to leaders. Getting questions answered has been harder.
Yeah, during News Literacy Week, News 5's Caroline Sweeney spoke with reporters here at our station about the changing landscape of journalism during this pandemic.
If you log on to the News 5 Facebook page around 2 p.m., you'll hear,
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, good afternoon. Afternoon, everyone.
Governor Mike DeWine making his almost daily updates on the status of the coronavirus pandemic in Ohio. These updates started in person, then moved to an all-virtual setting. Other agencies around the state have done the same thing. Jordan Vandenberg is a News 5 reporter who's been reporting using virtual press conferences since March.
This is something that we in the media haven't dealt with before, and public agencies haven't had to deal with before either. So we were kind of laying the track down as the train started to get moving.
After the learning period, Jordan says big agencies like departments of health got a system down. For the governor's press conferences,
Hello, Governor.
reporters call in and ask their own questions. At others,
the first question is from Scott Knoll from News 5.
like in the city of Cleveland,
The chief mentioned
a moderator reads the questions from a feed.
The pandemic has made that difficult in a lot of instances, but we're not going to stop trying because we believe there are real questions out there that need real answers.
Scott Knoll is an investigative reporter with News 5. He spends time waiting on Facebook Live events.
Hello, and welcome to today's Cuyahoga County and Board of Health media briefing.
Navigating the newest iteration of a press gaggle.
I think one of the biggest challenges is just getting that face-to-face interaction and being able to, if somebody says something and it doesn't make sense, being able to challenge that. That's our job. That is what we need to do a lot of times to get the hard answers to the questions we're asking.
Earlier this month, Scott was waiting on a Facebook Live. He had questions for Mayor Frank Jackson. 3 different times, Scott typed his question into the live chat, and it wasn't asked by the moderators
Scott Knoll from News 5.
until the very end.
The biggest problem there is a lot of times you can't ask that follow-up question. If somebody doesn't answer your question and instead just talks around the issue, you need to be able to have that back and forth to make sure you get the answers that people want.
Follow-up questions, which I would contend are sometimes the most important questions to ask, they're borderline impossible.
Not only have press conferences changed, limiting access, some officials, like Mayor Jackson, are not giving interviews. News 5 asked city public information officers why. Spokespeople pointed back to the mayor's press conferences 2 weeks ago.
Why won't you answer verbal questions? And why only take questions in writing filtered through your staff?
Jackson saying these virtual conferences give the public access to officials too, while Cleveland leaders, like the mayor or his spokespeople, aren't giving one-on-one video interviews. Some elected officials are.
Because I had conversations
In a health crisis, when people have questions about their safety, the lack of access leaves questions unanswered. Because the country is still in a pandemic, these video conferences could continue changing what journalism looks like in the future.
I worry that in the future, our industry, specifically TV, people are automatically going to defer to Zoom or WebEx or whatever the case may be.
Jordan worries the continued limited access will have a trickle-down to voters.
If we're not able to ask follow-up questions, if we're not able to get to the root of the matter because we're exchanging information over Zoom, it has a chilling effect.
Caroline Sweeney, News 5.